Hello and welcome to Switch It Up. Today we are doing a product review video, and I am basically yelling because in the RV life we deal with this AC noise. All of us deal with it. It's in every one of our rigs, and these things are loud. So as we were walking through the Tampa RV show, we discovered something, and it's called the RV AC Silencer. It's like a game show or something, I don't know. So we bought it. It was not given to us. We bought it because I wanted to test the product from good old 𝗏𝗏 products. 𝗏𝗏. They're from Wisconsin, so you gotta say it 𝗏𝗏. Long O. That's why the O is bigger. We're gonna give this a shot. Try to see if we can reduce some of this noise. And I don't know, 𝗏𝗏. You're being put to the test here. We're gonna roll the intro, jump right back into it, tear the AC apart, and stick this on and see what we come up with. So roll the intro.
A man and a woman left their home to switch things up and go on the road. They didn't know where they would go, but it's gotta be better than staying home. They switched it up. They switched it up.
Alright, welcome back. Here's the deal. AC's running. In order to do this test, I actually downloaded like I don't know, it's some sort of sound app that's supposed to record the decibel levels. So the only thing I could think of is before we get started is just to see how much louder this is currently, and then we'll do a test when it's all installed. I don't have like a wind meter or something that we can figure out if it's actually increasing. They're saying it's going to increase the amount of volume and that's going to be pushed to the vents across the RV, but we'll give that a test as well. Just it's going to have to be a comparison, but we can measure this. So according to this wonderful meter, being up here, we're going to be right around that 74. It's kind of like a 73 to 74 is kind of an average, but that's up here close to the ceiling, right? So we'll do that here, and I'll do a measurement on the ground. It's going to be an average of 56 as far as like a sound measurement. So we'll use those two numbers, 74 and 56. It's about 3.5 foot off the ground. So we have just an idea on where we're gonna be. So let's jump into the box and see what they sent us, and then we'll have to pull everything apart. Okay, so they have several different styles of these. We have actually the 𝐁𝐿 They actually make them for Dometic. Every one of these is a little bit different depending on how this is laid out in your ceiling. They pretty much have every style with the exception of one or two that are now included into the two different product models that they have. But this is for the 𝐁𝐿. It's pretty, I kind of popped the box open. It's pretty much just a standard, looks like a standard cover. This comes apart. Inside we have the instructions. And these are electrostatic filters. They're easier to clean, a little bit bigger, obviously. And you're asking, well, where's the magic? The magic comes into after we get everything installed, but I can tell already how they developed the dump valve system, and I think where the silencing is going to come from. Looking at how this is designed, they have two buffers that are in here, like this in here, and it looks like when this is up here, your intake's going to come through into this dampening mechanism, and then they've created like a baffle. It looks like a baffle that goes through and then sucks the air up. So therefore, that's going to be probably the silencing component on how this is going to work. It's really well made, so that's awesome on how they've constructed it. And these baffles are like it's like a soundproofing foam that's in here, kind of. You can tell on the denseness of how it is. But this is going to be a little bit smaller than I believe on what we have. And they actually have a filler ring, depending on when I pull this off. Depends on how much smaller this will be, so we'll just have to find out. And if I need to order the filler ring later on, I can. He wasn't quite sure on our unit, and I was kind of lazy to run back and check it out. In here, we have, looks like screws and tape, because inside of when we pull this all apart, we're going to have to tape up any of the loose areas that there's tape flopping around, and try to fill any of the voided areas that air is trying to move through. So we're trying to create a space that air can flow evenly. So that's everything that's in here. Let me tear it all apart. We'll see what we have. Included in the kit's going to be a bunch of tape, aluminum tape for sealing everything up, and we have some minor gasket things and a ton of screws. As of now, let's tear it all apart. Here's something interesting. If you ever notice that your dump valve, or your intake is only from this point over, and this point over is all blocked. So actually your intake level is only this part of the filter. So when you're cleaning your filters, have you ever noticed that most of this one side is clean and the other side is not? This is the space you're working with right here. This side's the same way. We'll pull the screws, the mounting screws out, and we'll see what we're sitting with. What I was saying is that this is much wider than the silencer, and so we might have to get the extension plate, because you can see how this was all formed in. So we'll just see how it all sits once we get the RV silencer up, see if we need to get that plate. This is your flow indicator. When you hit your dump valves, it tries to dump out these two directions. You have to remove this because you're no longer going to need it. Now, what you're left with is this box area, right? And the goal here is trying to seal up any of these loose edges and stuff that are here so the airflow can work accordingly. The AC silencer itself is just going to basically go over this area that's in your ceiling. Looking for a lot of sealed up areas. Like right here is a good indicator, like there's a loose, so like this is loose, so you're trying to seal all of this stuff down. You're looking for anything that can be sealed up. So that's what we're going to take care of to make sure all the air can flow accordingly. This divider we're leaving in place. Don't think about removing that at all. So we're going to install this, and then we'll use the tape to tape everything down as well. The holes actually line up, so you don't have to worry about creating anything new. There's actually an arrow that's on here. It says to the rear of your RV. They've thought of everything. Okay, so right now all I'm trying to do is use the tape to, so like, see how they've taped this up on this side to create a nice thing. On this other side, they have not. You have to make sure that your air is going to be flowing and sealing up all those gaps. You're wanting to create as much of a seamless area as possible for the air to flow through. I know this seems like a tedious step, but you have to make sure that the airflow is going. I took the time to go all the way around and make sure all the baffles are taken care of. I mean, historically, we all know that this isn't the most efficient thing in your RV. This is a very important step. Now I'm going to put the base plate on. They have included a ton of screws because they want it to be snug straight to the roof, so there's no gaps. We're going to be doing a lot of screwing here. They are not playing around. There's no gaps or nothing. Okay, now I'm installing the filter. Again, this is an electrostatic filter, so cleaning through the course of time will be easier, and it's much wider, and you're getting all of this available air for return airflow. So it's going to take in a majority of the hot air that's up on your ceiling. Fabulous. So far our installation's been maybe 15 minutes. We have now just these locking bolts that go in place. Now for the verdict. Clean up some of the dust from the old system. It fits really snug up here, but because the way the trim is cut in our ceiling and where our AC is, I'll probably have to get that adapter ring so we can fill in these gaps. That is one of the reasons we'll probably have to get the adapter ring. It's something you might have to look into, where your AC sits in your ceiling. Just standing here, it sounds quieter. Definitely sounds quieter. And we're definitely having more air out of our vents. Remember, we were at 74 when I was up here earlier. We're down to 64. It's going 64 to 65. Let's see what it's down 3.5 feet off the floor. We were at 56 before. It seems to be, we're running right around 48. Definitely quieter. And I don't, the whole thing of taping up and making sure there's no gaps and everything probably makes a huge difference in the airflow, but I can tell a huge difference. Now we no longer have dump valves for the area. The dump valve system probably would not work because you're going to cut off those two areas to dump out. If you have that type of AC system, this would not be a good product for that, of course. But as it sits, where we're at right now, we have a racetrack system that's in a Grand Design Momentum, and so now with the air being increased through that whole circuit, I see a huge difference. And it is quieter, and I can feel it coming out of the vents more. That's not a scientific fact by any means, because I don't have no way to measure that, but I can feel it. So it makes a huge difference. We'll give it a shot for about 30 days, and we have not, 𝗏𝗏 did not give these to us by any means. We actually paid for them at the RV show, or paid for it, because we only bought one. It was around $209, I believe, at the show. So far, pretty happy, but we're gonna have to give it a 30-day run. And would I put them on the other two ACs that we have? I believe I would, within the first 10 minutes of it running, but we'll just have to see after 30 days. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, be a doer of all those things, so you can see, possibly in the future when I do this update, you might want to know that information. If you have this already installed on your system, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the good old RV AC silencer by 𝗏𝗏. We really appreciate that, and we'll see what we do in the future if we end up adding them to the other two. Let 𝗏𝗏 know if you saw the video and you appreciated kind of this little product review. I don't know what to call this segment. I guess Todd's Techno Time. Who knows? But I thought it would be a little different, out of the box, give you something of value today. We'll just see where it all heads from here. So thanks for tuning in, and with all that being said, we are